First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Second item on the agenda tonight is public conversation. Our first speaker is Karen England. Ms. England, if you would, press the right silver button before you speak, and you see the light turn red, and that means you're live. And don't get a display time on there. The light will start to reflect when you're out.
Did you see? Yes, the right one. Okay, yes. Well, thank you. I want to talk a little bit about what we have been talking about for a few years now, and that is the pornography in the classroom libraries. I'm not going to read from it. We've got students here, and I also was looking at your board policy that says that we would be removed if the presentation is obscene, profane, or vulgar, which all of those books fit under. So I don't know why they are okay for children, but not okay for the board and the public to know that they're in there. On May 3rd, I sent Mr. Mayberry push along with the redacted information. It took my reading it on July 25th, where you wanted to stop me, because it is disgusting stuff. And finally, in the last few days, it has been removed. And I was informed tonight that several of the other books that Mr. Mayberry submitted they were removed as well. However, that doesn't change the problem that you don't have a policy in place, that this district is not transparent, that I've had to spend months coming here encouraging the public and reading things that, Mr. Griffey, you wanted me to stop that was so bad. So that's a problem. Now, we've had the situation where you spent a year developing curriculum on a law that didn't exist on sex ed, developed 3 pieces of curriculum, none of which were in compliance with the law. Strike 1, violated the law. We've got the engaged training that went on, clearly violated the law on CRT. We now have, and I'm going to cite the law, and I've spoken with Aaron several times, and he's spoken to the attorney several times. 3 weeks ago, I met with I met with Aaron, and I gave him a copy of the letter dated August 11th that came from the State Department of Education and charged the governing board of the school district to ensure that the books are appropriate for age, maturity levels, and students that access the material. It also instructed you all as a board to remove materials determined not to meet the created list above. That's what the law says. I've been hearing that, oh, the board can't do anything, we can't do anything. We're the last stop. So I'm going to read from the law, and I'm happy to give it to you if you need it. But this is section E. It says, and it's referring to the law above, the procedure adopted pursuant to this section are not the exclusive means of the material from a school's library collection and do not preclude a school district or governing body from developing or implementing other policies, practices, or procedure for the removal of material in the schools. So again, where's the policy? Where's the transparency? How are we getting these books out? And how are we ensuring that they don't come back in again? I also want to bring up how your policy as of this morning aligns directly with the American Library Association, which is in direct opposition of Tennessee state law. State law wants it to be age appropriate. The American Library Association, which on 4/4, you all updated your policy, has no age limit for anyone and any resource in the library. Total contradicting with Tennessee statute and the law. So again, I'm happy to meet with your attorney. I'm not one, I'm just plain at work. But Tennessee's laws are really easy to read. It's plain language. And you may not like my tone, but it is so frustrating. I travel the nation working with school boards. I've never met a school board that is so listening to the public, being transparent, and trying to actually work for the people that elected you. I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes from MLK Jr. And this is because you've allowed porn in the school. So this is all for you. He who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps perpetrate it. He who accepts evil without protesting against it is really cooperating with it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you, Cynthia. Did I pronounce it right? No, you can't button. So button, like, there you go.
Fancy. Okay. So I'm going to change it up a little bit after talking with what I lovingly call the recess moms. Bless their heart, they've been on quite an uphill battle. Today I was sitting here thinking about the uphill battle I've been on with this district for many years. And even long before I started coming to school board meetings, because we weren't even allowed to talk, so I didn't come for 3 of the years, but I was on an uphill battle. It takes me back to an article I read back on May 25th from Clarksville Now. CMCSS, News, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Google, and others over student mental health crisis. Dr. Luna Vetter was quoted, "Without cooperation and support from social media companies, CMCSS has been fighting an uphill battle. We need to protect our children, our schools, our society." I would like to tell you, ma'am, those are our kids. And what it should say to you is, without the cooperation and support from the district and the school board, parents have been fighting an uphill battle. We need to protect our children, our schools, and our society. And I don't appreciate the fact that you guys have taken the time, probably wasted money, who knows, to sue big tech for God knows why, because you still use Google Classroom, but you're suing them. You still allow teachers use YouTube, but you're suing them. For the mental health crisis you're saying is placing on our children. There are 2 main things that are causing a huge mental health crisis on our children right now. Actually 3, if you want to count screen time. What did you guys distribute to all the children recently in the last couple of years when the test scores plummeted? Computers. They are on excessive screen time. The recess moms will tell you they get 15 minutes of recess if they're lucky. I just saw a mom today, and I experienced it with my daughter in the back. You can talk to her. One of the biggest reasons she left and wanted to be homeschooled was she was so frustrated that she was so exhausted all day. And she couldn't even wait till recess. Guess when recess was? At the end of the day. At the end of the day. And if she was lucky, she got to go. It didn't matter if she was good, all the kids had to be good. It's ridiculous. You're not letting them get outside. You're not letting them get fresh air. You're not letting them get movement and physical activity. Then on top of it, we have a porn in school problem that is beyond of the library I've seen. I look at these books all across the country, and ours are some of the worst libraries we have. And you can look, I will cite a recent article, Impact of Pornography in Children, from the American College of Pediatricians, and they clearly state, this is interesting, sexual predators have purposely exposed young children to pornography for the purpose of grooming the children for sexual exploitation. Pornography exposures at these young ages are often resulting in anxiety of children. The children can suffer all symptoms of anxiety and depression. Shocker. It goes on to say, in summary, children exposed to pornographic material are at risk for a broad range of maladaptive behaviors and mental illness. Y'all, we are not here to make your lives miserable. We're not here for fun. I just traveled all weekend and I wanted to be home with my kids, but I'm here because I want to help these kids. And they are hurting. And you are a part of it. The board has relinquished all their rights to her. You guys are doing nothing. You're not creating policies even when the law tells you to. You're not creating policies to get this stuff out. You're not giving parents options. I talk to so many parents in this district that don't want their kids having computers because their kids are going on those computers in school, on the school network, and they are looking at pornography and other awful things. And you guys cannot stop it because nobody can. It's a fact. It's only as good as the software. The software people even tell you they can't stop it 100%. So if you're not going to even give parents the option to opt out of those things that can harm your children, and then you're going to keep the porn in the libraries, and then you're going to tell these sweet mothers who've done all this research for a year of how great it would be to have extra recess, you're not on our side. You are on your side, which is dictating to us what happens to our children. That's not how it works. And it makes me very sad. I know you don't like my tone, but you know what? I didn't like being told for 3 years there was nothing that could be done with my eldest child when I begged. And I begged, and I lost him to drug addiction. None of you were there. It's my child. None of you were there. So don't talk about our kids. They're our kids, and we have to deal with the ramifications. And I would appreciate if you would stop worrying about my tone and start worrying about all of these children in this district you're responsible for. And maybe think about why the tone is there. We have hard stories. And there's a lot more parents who are too scared to even come up here and say anything to you. I know parents who are scared to even go to the principal at their school because the principal will retaliate against their child. I know that to be true because I watched that happen with my second son, and you are very well aware of it. So I ask of you, please, start doing your job. Take back control, oversee the district, and start making policies to ensure that she can do what's best for our children.
Thank you, Becky. Next item, Rachel Bush. Bush will get the sewer button and the red line will come on. The red line begins to blink. You're almost out of time. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Rachel Bush. I have the privilege of helping lead the countywide effort to try and secure more daily recess for our elementary school students. For those unaware, our elementary school students attend school for 6.5 hours a day. That is 390 minutes. Of those 390 minutes, only 15, occasionally 20, if you're quote-unquote lucky, are dedicated to recess. Unfortunately, this is not reviewed through lunch, as kids are required to sit, sometimes in silence. Furthermore, it is not reviewed through PE, as students only have PE twice every 6 school days. To put this in perspective, the Tennessee labor law requires a 30-minute break for adults every 6 hours of work. So we are giving our elementary school students half of the break required by state law to give adults. To further elaborate, the United Nations considers playtime to be a child's right, not just a privilege that can be held as punishment. The UN's Child's Rights Treaty is one of the world's most ratified human rights treaties in history. To date, 190 of the 193 countries that make up the UN have ratified the treaty in their own laws. So who are the 3 holdouts? Somalia, South Sudan, and the United States. While we haven't embraced this nationally, it's a conversation for another day, but while we haven't embraced it as a county or embraced it locally, we believe there are several factors mostly missed that I'm going to address. Myth number 1. Quality of classroom instruction leads to higher standardized test scores. Truth. Adequate playtime leads to increased attention spans and higher brain capacity to learn and retain information. We require our teachers to drill instruction into our children's heads for hours a day. Yet out of 43 CMCSS schools, only 11 are designated as reward schools. Some believe that the more instruction we try to cram into our children's heads, the better they will perform. But this is against all scientific research. Instead, research shows with more recess comes higher test scores. Myth number 2. There simply isn't enough time in a day due to state mandates. Truth. Although the state has strong mandates, they only account for an average of 355 minutes out of our 390-minute day. There are 25 minutes unaccounted for. Additionally, we found at least 5 other counties in Tennessee that offer more recess than CMCSS, while still abiding by the same state requirements we do, with some even offering more recess in a 30-minute shorter day. And of these 5 counties, 4 of them have retired test scores. And myth number 3, we need to focus more on academics. Truth. Recess is academic. It is proven to help every other subject taught in the classroom. Not to mention, recess develops team building, leadership skills, and problem solving, which ironically is the top 3 qualities that the top 10 employers in America look for employees today. When we started our efforts a year ago, we went to administrators armed with research in every area of child development, but quickly realized it held little weight, with one director going as far as say perhaps we can conduct our own research in the pilot program. The pilot program piqued our interest, but unfortunately the elementary level director at the time reluctantly only agreed to giving 2 elementary school teachers just 5 extra minutes of recess a day for the rest of the semester and coined as a pilot. Just 2 teachers out of hundreds. We immediately stated this offer was not nearly enough to be called a pilot. Thankfully, in our subsequent meeting with Dr. Luna Vetter, she very much agreed with us that the offer was not considered a pilot program in her opinion, as she hesitantly agreed to a different pilot. She would allow the elementary school with the highest test scores to be a pilot with the possibility of having 10 extra minutes of recess, along with the possibility of rotating PE and more into the daily schedule. Unfortunately, when the one principal who was offered to participate in this pilot said no, the issue was dropped, and the offer was never extended to the other 23 elementary schools, despite our repeated pleas. We were firmly told that our needs had been adequately addressed because, and I quote, teachers felt like this initiative was just one more thing added to their plate since they are still providing supervision during recess. Are we being told that the 2-person pilot were the ones who felt it was one more thing, or the general consensus were all teachers anonymously polled? But perhaps the bigger question is, why are we still making teachers watch the students at recess? Why not ask retired teachers, bus drivers, or even consider a recess coach, which is a growing profession across America today? Extend recess time would potentially give teachers a larger break at home without stealing time away from their families at home. Or at school, sorry. Being reactive and not proactive can be problematic, but thankfully CMCSS has proven to be innovative. You were innovative with the school bus driver crisis by nearly solving it in a year. You were innovative with the Grow Your Own program that garnered national attention. I'm simply asking that you remain innovative. You once considered a pilot program. Please consider it again. But not just 5 extra minutes and call it a day. Consider revamping the whole system with recess at the core. Please consider the LINK project, a nationally recognized program that is centered on helping counties increase free play while reducing bullying and classroom disruption by 40%. This program could launch our county back into the national spotlight. I have a handout that we will provide all of you after this meeting with more details. We all know this is bigger than recess, but recess is where it starts. Thank you, and I look forward to future conversations on this matter.
Thank you. So now you turn the mic on, and you can silver button to the front right. The mic turns red, you're live, and starts flashing. You're running out of time.
All right. So my name is Dr. Dale Brown. I'm a chiropractor here in town with a focus on functional neurology and helping parents maximize the neural development of their children. So I want to talk a little bit about the science behind movement and the importance of movement. First thing I'd like to say is, and the way I discuss this with parents, the way I describe it, is do y'all know what the alternator does in your car? It has to move. If it does not move, it does not generate electrical power to be able to run your vehicle, to charge your battery, for the computer to do all functions for every system in your car to run efficiently. That is movement. Our brains from infancy develop from sensory input. One of the strongest and most important sensory inputs is movement, is play, is exercise. So exercise improves neuroplasticity, neurotrophic factors, improvements in brain function. There's a chemical called, or a brain hormone called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. That is important for development of the amygdala. The amygdala is the center of the brain necessary for memory and learning. And exercise increases the size of the amygdala. If school is about memory and learning, which you guys desire for all these children, we desire, then we have to get these children moving more. We have seen decreases in the brain size of our children. Research is showing, especially in those children suffering with neurocognitive disorders like ADHD, that their brain volume is smaller. Their amygdala is smaller. You know, what if God created an intelligence within us that these kids with ADHD, they move more. They want to play, they want to fidget, because movement is feeding their brain. If we could all think about movement and exercise, physical activity, as the most important nutrient for our children's brain, we would make a world of difference for the cognitive health that simply is declining so rapidly in the station of our children. So I kind of beg you to think about integrating. One of the things I would ask is, what barriers do these parents have, or what barriers do you guys have in increasing the number of minutes, hours that our children can have in physical activity, whether it be play, recess, or gym class? What are those barriers? Help us navigate, help us get around those barriers, help us tear those barriers down. I'll go through some of the notes here real quick. I'd like to compare a little bit in the differences between medication, the primary treatment of ADHD. And I'm going to let everybody know, I don't treat ADHD, but again, I help parents navigate the scientific research that's available to all of us to understand what we can do that will increase cognitive development, that will increase brain size, that will increase neuroconnectivity. They've shown that medications, while they are effective in reducing the fidgeting, the movement, and the rule breaking for students in the classroom, what it doesn't do is it doesn't increase their academic achievement. It doesn't increase their memory, their learning, their ability to retain that information that teachers are struggling to try to teach those students. But exercise does all of that. It improves every aspect of that. There are schools around the world that increase exercise and literally have children doing physical activity every single hour. They show studies that for just one session, a 10-minute increased physical activity to get your heart rate up and breathing up, that for 2 hours, test scores improve. These are things that exercise can do. You know, one of the interesting facts that I kind of just brushing up on the subject was that if you take what exercise does to the brain, increasing the size of the amygdala, increasing vascular endothelial growth factor hormones that increase blood vessel formation within the brain, you can get more blood flow to the brain of these children because they exercise. Learning in a school classroom setting while sitting still doesn't do that. It doesn't increase BDNF. So we can't force these kids to memorize things. They need to move and then get in the classroom, sit down, learn the subject. Get back out and move, get back in the classroom and learn those subjects again. All right? One of the interesting things, when you take the effects or the negative effects of maltreatment, abuse of children, and then you take the positive effects of ADHD or of exercise on the brain, it's an exact mirror of the opposite. So we would have such significant benefit in children who are being mistreated at home. We could reduce depression. We could reduce suicide. We could reduce the need for medications, the negative harms of those medications. So wherever the barriers are, let us know. Please, we beg you, increase exercise. Going.
Like red begins to flash, you have one that's left.
Hello, and thank you for allowing me to speak to you this evening. I am in support of Say Yes to Recess, representing the Early Childhood Center and Child Care. My husband and I own the Red Barn Child Care Center and Preschool in Montgomery County, where we serve children 6 weeks to 13 years of age. We have a daughter that graduated from Hartsville High School and a son that will be eligible for kindergarten next year. Early childhood education focuses on the period of development between birth and 8 years of age. I want to help you gain an understanding of what our state standards are for outdoor play in the child care setting. Children of all ages who are in care for more than 3 daylight hours shall have a daily opportunity for outdoor play when the temperature range is between 32 and 95 degrees and it is not raining. Weather permitting, infants shall be taken outside 2 to 3 times per day. Toddlers and preschoolers shall have 60 to 90 minutes of outdoor play per day. And active play opportunities shall not be withheld from children who have misbehaved. As you can tell, that is a vast difference from the 20 minutes that CMCSS elementary children have scheduled for recess during the day. What I have learned from looking at class schedules for elementary children is that typically their mere 20 minutes is provided at the end of the school day. The term recess is defined as a break from work or school, and their break from learning shows up at 2:40 in the afternoon, an hour before dismissal. Right before that 20-minute break, a kindergarten class has math for 55 minutes. Now, I'm not sure why a 5-year-old needs close to 5 hours of math per week, but I do know that they need more than 1 hour of recess. I want you all to think about back just a few short years till we were in kindergarten. What do you remember the most? I remember playing outside during my half-day program in the 80s. Back then, they knew that outside play was a priority for children, even though they gave us Sunny D to drink like it was actual orange juice. But in the words of Maya Angelou, when you know better, you do better. Speaking of nutrition, there is a study published by Brigham Young University in 2015 that showed children who had moved recess to before lunch were eating 54% more fruits and vegetables than their peers. There was also a 45% increase in the number of children eating at least one serving of those foods. Increasing recess scheduling and availability improves health in many more ways than just nutrition and physical health. Educators and administrators of all ages and grades agree on one thing, and that is the rise of challenging behaviors in group settings. Disruptions, outbursts, tantrums, and physical aggression are a red flag that children are experiencing fight or flight because they were not built for a sedentary life. Diagnoses come from the left and the right because the child cannot just sit still long enough. Nowadays, instead of providing less time sitting, we invest in flexible seating options so that at least the children can have different options while they sit for hours and hours. And I will leave you with a few questions until next time. Does 1 hour per week sound like a sufficient break? Does our district have a system-wide policy on recess scheduling and availability for all children? How do other districts implement longer periods of recess? And what immediate changes can be made to work on this problem? Thank you again for allowing me to help you have a greater understanding of why failures to recess deserve serious consideration and your attention. And I will leave you with this quote from Nicolette Souter, owner and founder of Wilder Child. If we want our children to move mountains, we first have to let them get out of their chairs. Thank you.
Silver button to the right, light to the red. It should be good, it should turn red.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Messer. For 7 years, I was a teacher in the public school system. In that time, I saw countless energetic children slowly conform to the social norms of what public school required. Students so full of life learned that sitting quietly was not only expected, but rewarded. Students yearning for play and connection with friends eventually learned that toys were left best at home, and connecting with friends only happened in a small 15-minute period called recess. As children were slowly learning to conform, I was also learning something. I was teaching in a system that was created for a child, but had completely forgotten the child. The very system we entrusted with our children's education was merely taming our wild and wonderful children. Like so many others, my children and I left the public school system. I now run my own business called Wild and Wonderful, where I supplement the education of homeschool children. I have classes 3 days a week where children and their families gather so we can learn together. We spend a large amount of our time playing, moving, singing, laughing, not being quiet. I had to leave your system in order to create an environment where kids can truly be wild and it is seen as wonderful, valued, and most importantly, educational. I can stand among you this evening and present research about the benefits of play for children, but do we really need research to tell us what common sense does? To prove to you just how common this is, I decided to take a survey. I would like to share with you the results of this survey I personally conducted while preparing to speak to you this evening. I decided to do this Family Feud style. I surveyed 100 people and asked the question, list 5 words that describe a child. Top 5 answers are on the board. Now please keep in mind that before I read the top 5 answers, I did not give any of these people any background knowledge as to why I was asking. I asked people of all ages, backgrounds, ethnicities, friends from different countries, children as young as 6, and current and former teachers. Top 5 answers are on the board. Number 5, loud. 4, fun. 3, curious. 2, energetic. Number 1, playful. I then surveyed 100 people, list 5 words that describe public school. Top 5 answers are on the board. Number 5, quiet. 4, boring. 3, long. 2, political. And number 1, unfair. Don't you find this ironic? This can be done. I speak from experience. I had the privilege of working at a school in Kentucky, not far away from here, where students not only had 2 20-minute recess periods, but also had scheduled movement breaks. Children could bear crawl to the cafeteria. They could fill the hallways with singing rather than standing like soldiers. I once passed a student in the hallway pushing a teacher's aide on a scooter and didn't even slow down to stand. Why? Because this was not a rare sighting. It was understood that children need to move for their mental, physical, and emotional health. Please, just implore common sense. Give these kids more recess. I hear from the homeschool community daily. I talk with them about their reasons for homeschooling. We know from a trusted source that you all are losing thousands every year to homeschool. We know this. Why? I conducted one more survey. I asked my families, tell me why you're leaving. Here are their actual answers. 1, the public school system teaches kids to sit for long periods of time, listen and not question what is being taught. 2, recess is too short. 3, lunch and hallways seem like prison to me. So much telling kids to be still and quiet, not at all natural to what kids should be doing. 4, kids need more free play and more outside time. 5, no free movement. Every minute of their day is constructive. That's just 5, but the list goes on and there's a common theme. I know you have a multitude of problems you deal with on a daily basis where solutions simply are not easy. Your jobs are not easy. Whew, they're not easy. I cannot do it. But it's not one of them. It's not one of them. This is simple. This is quite easy. Simply let children play, and you will actually see that a multitude of your other problems will be solved as well. Thank you, and I look forward to talking with you about this in the future.
Silver button to the right, turns it on, turn red, turn line, it will begin flashing and you'll bring it left.
Good evening, school board members and community members. Thank you so much for your time this evening. My name is Morgan Garner, and I bet you can guess why I'm here. We are asking you, the elected members of the school board, to fix 3 things and to change 2. The first thing we are asking to be fixed is eliminate recess being taken away as punishment. There have been numerous instances of individuals in entire classes losing recess as a punishment. According to the Tennessee State Board of Education, sections 1.4 and 1.5, quote, you cannot withhold recess as a punishment, nor can you count walking to and from recess as physical activity time, which leads me to my second request. Start the clock for recess on the playground. We were told by administrators that taking away recess as a punishment is discouraged but not mandated. Perhaps this statement was said because there's no funding-related consequences to breaking these policies, which we were told by an attorney these policies are law. The third thing we're asking to be fixed is provide adequate indoor recess facilities that allow for true physical activity on inclement weather days. We all know Tennessee is going to be too hot, too cold, too steamy for half the year, too rainy. Staying indoors in the classroom is not cutting it on days when the weather is less than perfect. Indoor recess time has been noted to include computer games, homework, reading, books, playing board games, and while these activities are fine in moderation, the point is that they are not moving their bodies. Recess is a time to release excess energy, and interact with their peers. The two things we are asking for you to change. Number one, allow elementary schools to provide PE every day. PE should not be considered special. This is a right for children to be able to move. And the second thing we're asking is substantially increase recess time. According to CMCSS's website, quote, addressing the social, emotional, and behavioral needs of students is a primary focus for CMCSS. In the 21-22 Parent Guardian Survey, almost 2/3 of families indicated that addressing social, emotional, and emotional learning should be a top priority for CMCSS. Could not agree more. Gen Z's higher rates of depression and anxiety have been directly linked to a lack of social development, seemingly due to unfettered internet access, social media, lack of peer-to-peer interactions. Humans are social creatures and desire social connection and attachment from the moment they are born. And social media is paving a way for destruction of mental health by way of cyberbullying and self-worth that is measured by how many followers you have. CMCSS provides nutritious breakfast, lunch, guidance, counseling, library, art, music, things so many children don't get at home. So why are we not providing adequate time for unstructured, peer-to-peer social development when social, emotional, and behavioral needs of students is a primary focus? In 2017, CMCSS had 2 recesses per day. If we did it once, we can do it again. Our proposed solution, the LINK project. We're going to give handouts for further information after the meeting, but the LINK project has mimicked the school system in Finland, which gives ample recess and breaks. Each school that this program was implemented into was thoroughly studied and the results were incredibly positive. Within the first year, test scores jumped an average of 7% for reading and 10% for math. They had lower rates of obesity, less nurses visits, and more happiness reported. That is a quote. At a time when depression is at an all-time high, I think we all need to strive for a little more happiness, don't you? Especially for our kids. We have a petition for increased recess time that has garnered nearly 700 signatures. I hope that number resonates with you. We're the 7th largest county in Tennessee. Clarksville is on the rise, and there are so many opportunities here that make this an amazing place to live. Let us be the face for change in Tennessee. This is so much bigger than recess, but recess is the first step. And I would like for quietly, if everyone who is here supporting more recess, to please quietly stand and show your support. Thank you all so much for listening to us tonight.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Next item is Deanna. Next speaker is Deanna Walker.
Hi, my name is Deanna McLaughlin. I'm the city council member that represents Ward 2, which is in Northwest Clarksville. I'm here today to speak with you about traffic congestion on Cunningham Lane due to parent pickup and drop-off traffic at New Providence Middle School and Minglewood Elementary School. Shortly after being elected, I was contacted by my commission colleague, Jeremiah Walker, who had learned about concerns from the traffic from his constituents. After speaking with him, I reached out to the traffic sergeant for the Clarksville Police Department that mimicked the exact same concerns that Commissioner Walker had. Parent pickup and drop-off backs up on both directions of Cunningham Lane, and in some cases ends up at Fort Campbell Boulevard and also Lafayette Road. The other concern is that it backs up to South Jordan Drive, which is a residential street. This traffic can reduce the response times of the Clarksville Fire Station that is located across the Boulevard Station 6, which houses one of the only rescue trucks on the northwest side of Clarksville. In December, I requested a meeting with the Chief Operations Officer for the school system and his staff. Commissioner Walker was unable to attend, but we met on December 14th, and I did copy our school board representatives on the information of that meeting. I raised suggestions and solutions for school-related traffic issues. One was release parent pickup students 15 to 20 minutes after bus riders and walkers are released. The city provides crossing guards for schools inside the city limits. Those are city taxpayer dollar employees. And their job, according to the job description, is to direct or escort children safely across streets and school zones, stopping traffic as necessary, control the flow of traffic to allow school buses to arrive and or safely depart the schools, and rapidly scan the environment, looking left to right to make sure that everyone is safe. Their job is not to direct traffic. Yet we constantly see part-time crossing guards try to direct traffic to keep it from backing up onto major streets. The response was from the staff that they didn't feel like moving the times is feasible. And I'm not an educator, I'm also not an engineer, but I was trying to come up with effective ways that would not just benefit our schools of concern, but other schools across the city. One suggestion was that since the police department is located so close to the schools that the police officers at Station 1 could help direct traffic. That's not their job, they're patrol officers. There's a traffic division, but the traffic division is so overwhelmed with trying to reduce collisions and fatalities on our major roads in our city, which you all read about every day. Suggestion 2 was to build parent pickup roads along school system-owned property. As you know, for those of you that know, Minglewood has a lot of frontage across the front, and the discussion was about constructing parent pickup or drop-off holding lanes. And that was actually something that was discussed that would be looked at in the budget that has already been passed and is in place. Also, another suggestion was a new Providence complex to route school traffic through the back of the school, but it was brought to my attention that it wasn't safe for children to be crossing the bus traffic. I just tried to come up with some solutions. Another suggestion was SROs may have the ability to assist when their schools are vacant, morning or afternoon, and that would have to be in coordination with the school system and the sheriff's office. So kind of the timeline of where we've come. So on December 15th, I sent a recap of the meeting to the members that were there and copied our school board representatives. I sent a follow-up email on January 19th, and on March 1st, I was told that there was going to be discussion about potential paving of a holding lane. I didn't find out until August that did not happen. We need some help. Help us clear our streets. It is illegal for people to be holding lanes, traffic lanes. They can be cited, but we need a solution, and it's not just our school complexes, but it's across the city. But Commissioner Walker and I get calls specifically about New Providence and Minglewood, and think about the rescue personnel that need to get to emergencies, potentially at those school complexes that can't get through because of the traffic. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, next speaker is Jeremiah Walker. And again, Supervisor Wright, Mike Red, and Blink Scott.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeremiah Walker. I am the County Commissioner for District 10. I want to talk about two schools, Minglewood and New Providence. Both of these schools are in my district. Let's start with New Providence Middle School. I get up every morning and I go and I sit across the street from New Providence Middle School. I look at the traffic. I look at parents that are stopping in the middle of their road going east and west and east, dropping children off in the middle of the road. I thank God that Officer Davis was out on the 11th, right, and gave 2 citations. But I counted 19 cars that stopped and dropped the children off in the middle of the road. We can do better than that. And this was between the hours of 6:50 and 7:15 in the morning. So I want to commend Officer Davis, and I talked to the Chief of Police this afternoon about it. I wanted to commend him for the work that he was doing out there. This morning, between the hours of 6:50 and 7:15, I witnessed 21 cars doing the exact same thing. Parents that are stopping in the road, dropping their children off. I would ask you that if you went to County Commissioner District 10's Facebook page, you can see the pictures. Because I stood out there taking pictures this morning. That is an accident looking for a time to happen. Not a place. The place is already there. It's just looking for a time. We can do better. Right? I don't know if putting up signs along in front of New Providence would help. And the reason why I say that, I got pictures this afternoon from Barker's Mill, where they have signs that are telling parents not to park, not to drop their kids off. Lines of cars parked in front of the sign in the opposite direction, so I don't know. But here's a suggestion. The possibility of getting a police officer. I don't care if it's a deputy sheriff, I don't care if it's a highway patrolman, I don't care if it's Clarksville police, that if they could stand in that grass right away in front of New Providence Middle School, parents would start doing that. That's just a thought. Minglewood Elementary School. Traffic backs up from Minglewood Elementary School from South Jordan Road all the way to District 1 Police Station. That's a quarter of a mile. I'm out there in the mornings and in the afternoon looking lane, who's the crossing guard. When I brought this up before, somebody told me that ain't your lane. That's a city road. I said, okay, but that's a county school. We need to work together. I don't care who it belongs to. All right. A holding lane off of Cunningham Lane that runs along the side of District 1 Police Station and comes in would alleviate all that traffic that's backed up on Cunningham Lane. In the event we got to get an emergency vehicle through, we can. Simple. Real simple. Right? And it shouldn't take that much. I want to give a shout out to Missy Lane, who's a school crossing guard. She's not a traffic control officer, but she does an outstanding job in doing what she does. We need to learn how to be proactive instead of reactive. Let's not wait till a child is hit. And this goes for all the school districts. Let's not wait till a child is hit before we do something. We know it's a problem. Let us work together to solve the problem. I thank you for hearing me.
That concludes our public comments. Next item on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda. Have a motion from Mr. Patterson, and a second from Mr. Galvin to approve the consent agenda. All in favor? Open the vote. I'll do a show of hands. Something's not working. All in favor, raise your hands. Motion passes 7-0. We're having technical issues. It may be the bolt between the mic and the chair. We can still get by and get this done. Next item, reports. Dr. Beck.
Yes, you have an executive order, and this is for property liability insurance coverage. So every year, there is an estimate on how much the actual insurance will be. This year, there was an increase in insurance premiums. Part of that is due to liability being added at Kirkwood High School, along with additional numbers. So that's what you have in front of you, is the increase for property liability insurance premiums.
Next item of comments, Fort Campbell School Liaison Officer.
Good evening, board and I bring greetings from Fort Campbell Garrison, and I wanted to let you guys know that Ms. Garrett and I, we have contacted all the principals of our respective schools via email, and we will begin our visits in September. And we're looking forward to being of service to the Montgomery County school system and the community. Thank you.
CMCSS representative.
Good evening. Thank goodness this mic is on because I didn't know what to put. I come to you tonight not only as the president of the Parks and Montgomery County Education Association, but as a professionally licensed teacher of the Parksville Montgomery County School System. My license was earned after I finished the requirements that the state of Tennessee deemed necessary to be a professional in my field. As a professional, my ability to teach the Tennessee state standards with integrity should be respected and supported. Due to today's political and social climate, that respect and support is being eroded by certain elected officials and community member groups. The attacks on teacher integrity and professionalism are designed to undermine public education and create the illusion of a broken system. It is disheartening to see elected officials propel negative information regarding our school system and teachers to the public, so I ask the board to stand with teachers of CMCSS. Please support our professional knowledge, competence, opinions, and integrity, and allow us to do our jobs that we have been highly trained to do. CMCEA will always have the backs of our educators, and I hope you will as well. Thank you.
Okay. All right, good evening, board members, directors, Dr. Vetter. Kathy Cobb, professional educator of Tennessee. I'm the local president, also the state president, teachers across the state of Tennessee and here in Clarksville, Montgomery County. From listening to all of the comments tonight and all the concerns from parents and those people that are in attendance here, two words come to mind: building relationships. I think we need to start there, especially with the legislative agenda, from now on to the directors of schools, school board members, teachers, the parents. I feel like that is where we need to start, is building those relationships and listening. Again, to the warriors, just wanted you to know that. Thank you.
Comments from the county commissioners? Quiet votes tonight. Comments by board members? Spirit.
Be the reason that someone else smiles, be the reason that someone else feels loved, and believe in the goodness of every human being. Give people a chance. And I just want to say that personally, I have made it my business to do an act of kindness every day in the city of Clarksville. God knows what that is. But we can do better. We can treat each other decent. I think every one of these board members are good people. And it's not just one board member. If you're communicating with one board member, communicate with us all. I'll be glad to get back with you. But it's not fair to come here and mistreat us when you have not even communicated with us. I'm not mad about it, but do an act of kindness by treating people the way you want to be treated. Thank you.
That's right.
Concerning the protocol for stadium inspections that what happened this past weekend in Sumner County, I know is there a schedule for inspecting yearly?
We do stadium inspections. We inspect all sorts of aspects of the stadiums. We inspect the bleachers. We do structural inspections. We do grounds inspections. That's how we discovered the issue at Kingwood High School this year. So yes, we do thorough inspections of our stadiums.
Okay. That's what I was hoping for. That's what I thought, but I had a question. Thank you so much.
Mr. Garland.
I just want to thank the staff and the teachers of this district for the work that you do every day. There are some that are here to try to tear down, but we are here to build you up. There are a lot of things that are beyond our control, but the bottom line is you hired us or you voted on us to do a job. And I think that we do a good job of representing our students. And this is not trying to come up with an excuse. Some of the questions that was asked here today, I'm with you 100%. But then there are some that I don't understand where you're coming from, and I'm not going to try to figure it out. But the bottom line is I can't speak for the rest of the 76, but I am going to do everything I can, as long as I'm sitting up here, to make sure that our teachers, staff, and students get the support and supplies and the equipment that they need to be successful citizens as they matriculate into the system of adulthood. Thank you.
I'm not on right now. Oh, wait.
Mr. Major.
I appreciate everyone speaking out tonight from public comments. As a parent of an elementary school child, I would definitely love a presentation about recess and information about that in the future. I do got some prepared comments here. Over the past few weeks, I've had the privilege to go the first day at Kirkwood High School and Carmel. And I was able to go see road shows at Northwest High School. It was great to see all the amazing smiles and high fives I received at Carmel. It was great to see the new student body at Kirkwood High School and participate in the first ever school-wide pep rally there. And I absolutely loved the road shows at Northwest High School in Inglewood. Inglewood killed it. They won the school spirit competition there. You know it's impressive when you witness a teacher at New Providence Middle School do the worm in front of you. So that was fantastic. And I thank everyone for coordinating these efforts to kick off what I believe will be a great school year. Now, I do feel compelled to speak out about something I know is going to be uncomfortable for some. But I have had 5 times more communication from the public on this challenging opportunity than anything else I've had here in the 11 months I've been on the school board. I have received, without exaggeration, 50 direct phone calls from elected officials, CMCSS employees, parents, and that were extremely upset and uncomfortable with what came out in the national news about CMCSS. As an elected official, I feel compelled to speak on their behalf. CMCSS at the annual Engage Conference gave the district faculty members the opportunity to lead sessions. At a session, we had two counselors that conducted training that had content that labeled privileged statuses such as white, cisgender, heterosexual, and Christian, with the header stating social identities, privilege, and oppression outside race. Let me be abundantly clear. I was appalled when I first saw this chart and immediately raised this with our director. Oppressing one's race or segment of people to lift up another is absolutely unequivocally wrong. Now for more context, this was not a CMCSS district-wide training. There were hundreds of sessions for educators to choose from with 35 individuals who participated and opted into it. The content was developed independently by educators. CMCSS leadership is now reevaluating the process in which educator-created content is included in the Engage conference for next summer to ensure all sessions are aligned with district expectations. Employees are trained annually on these prohibited concepts that are against state law and should not be taught. Dr. Luna Vetter has ensured this board that there will be an additional level of scrutiny and approval placed before allowing presentations to be presented in the future to ensure messaging aligns with the district's expectations. I thank the director for the stance in clearly defining the boundaries for the future. Let me also be clear to state that CMCSS has absolutely amazing teachers, counselors, and faculty members, and that overall, vastly, everyone is doing an incredible job in following procedures. I have heard directly through a ton of phone conversations with many educators about the negative impact that these words have had because of these two counselors. I've had many teachers tell me that they do not want to be associated with this line of thinking and feel that it makes it much harder for them to do confidently their job. One teacher told me bluntly, as a white Christian male, he now feels like if he will be questioned if he disciplines a child that's labeled in the oppression category. This is unfortunate. He and many others in the community, including parents, elected officials, and teachers, have expressed to me that they feel disciplinary action should be implemented to send the correct message to the sort of actions that don't define our district, as these counselors have been trained annually on these prohibited topics and knew that they were out of bounds, and only added that these materials after they were presented for approval. If any one of these 35 in attendance implemented this presentation, they would be breaking state law, which would be making the district at risk of holding funds from the state. This greatly concerns me, and I look forward to continuing to receive updates on this matter. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Herbert Nelson. I'm a 20-year honorably retired military veteran, and I'm supporting the Constitution and First Amendment rights. But I think social media kind of blurs the line on that. When you have people who can get on social media and state opinions that aren't actually facts. There was recently something put out there about me and another board member not having any conversations reference some actions over at Kenwood High School. But unless that person is clairvoyant, they have no idea of the conversations Dr. McLaurin and Dr. Bailey and I have had. In my military career, I've been stationed at a field station in Berlin. I was there during the Cold War, and I was face-to-face with Russian soldiers. From there, I went to the National Security Agency, where I worked in Defense, Missile, Space, and Aeronautics Center, which the director, Admiral Studman, was in my office on a regular basis, who went on to become the director of CIA. From there, I went down to Panama, and when I was in Panama, they sent me back to work in the Pentagon to work on special projects. After my time in Pakistan and Panama, I came here to Fort Campbell and served in 101st Airborne Division. From there, I was recruited to the 160 Special Operations Aviation Regiment Airborne. And I was recruited and selected and passed the selection for that. Okay, I've been selected to go to the Joint Military Intelligence College for the undergraduate and graduate program and successfully completed those. All I've also went to the Lipscomb MBA program. Since I've been on the board, we've been recognized as a board of distinction, and just this past year we received an award for Board of the Year. Now, this same person on social media made the comment that you shouldn't vote for board members just because they're black. And I think that's race baiting. And, you know, I think that I've proven myself, because all these things that I've told you that I've gone through and I've completed successfully have not been because I was black, but because I was qualified. That's right. All right. And please understand that it's insulting to the citizens of Clarksville, Montgomery County, to make the statement that these board members up here have been voted in just because they're black. No, it's because we've had careers, we've done things, and we were qualified, and the people of Clarksville saw that we were qualified. And in the future, I would appreciate if you would just respect what we've done in our careers up to this point. Okay? And I just wanted to get that off my chest.
Yes, sir. I didn't realize that we had to go in order. I apologize. I'm retired also, but I haven't fought the Russians yet. But I'd like to congratulate you on your career. And I voted for you when the thing was over. Put you in here. I was one of them. And I don't think I've made a mistake yet. Not on you. Thank you. I'd like to thank Dr. Linda and her staff for the safe and great opening that we've had excuse me, in this school year. It's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes and a lot of welcome. And I just appreciate it. It was so safe and so enjoyable. I did disagree with Mr. Mayberry on some of his comments. I think Dr. Linda and the staff handled that situation. It was an unfortunate situation, but I think it has been handled properly, and I'd like to appreciate them for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like the chair, if he would actually set up a meeting for us to be able to talk about what our responsibilities as board members are under the policy governance make. Thank you.
Director of Schools report.
Good evening, board members. This week marks the second full week of the 23-24 school year. As we anticipated, we are continuing to see historic numbers of students enrolling in Clarksville, Montgomery County schools. As of today, our enrollment is approximately 39,500 students, which is an increase of about 650 students compared to this date last year. We are continuing to work with county officials to prepare for future growth in our school system. I'm excited to report that we have broken ground on our next elementary school, with Kirkwood Elementary School set to open August 2024 to finish off the Kirkwood complex to help alleviate some of the capacity issues that we have currently in the elementary schools. Given the growth of our community and collaborative spirit we did embark on roadshows this year with the theme of growing together. We truly believe that we continue to work together as a school system alongside elected officials, community partners, parents, students, and stakeholders. We certainly know we are not perfect and there's much room for growth, but we are proud of our school system. We're proud of our teachers and thank them for the work they do every day, alongside of our faculty, staff, classified, Go bus drivers. We've almost reached capacity with bus drivers and custodians. and I am committed to making sure this is the best school system in the state of Tennessee to both attend and be employed. Thank you, board members, for your support. I appreciated seeing many of you at road shows and at openings. Mr. Griffey, this concludes my report.
That concludes our agenda. This board meeting is adjourned.
How's it going?